Hello and welcome to another Jersey Football Chat. Today I am joined with James Scott. As many of you know, is trying to get a 3G five-a-side kind of venue down at FB. How are you doing, James?
All good, thanks, Dan. Yeah, it's always good to catch up with you. And yeah, thanks very much for having me on. And we can try and spread the word and get the word out there about me trying to get a new five-side facility on the island.
For sure. We'll take it back to the start. When did the idea first come about that you wanted to do this and you wanted to do it maybe at FB as well?
Well, it's actually been a long process to actually get to this point where I am currently at the moment. It's always been, obviously, I've been heavily involved in football, local football for many, many years. And I played five-a-side in the five-a-side league many years ago up at Fort Regent when the league was really thriving. I know it's still going now, but there was lots of teams, really good standards. I really enjoyed playing five-a-side football back then. And then obviously I'm fully aware that within football circles and speaking to members of the public, but also clubs as well, and I know myself, it's really, really difficult to try and find a five-a-side facility to play football. So it's always been an idea of something I thought is definitely needed on the island. And then obviously with Les Ormes closing down, I think a couple of years ago now, that heightened the need for it even more. So that pushed me even further to try and make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. And was FB a click? Did you look around or did FB just stand out straight away as a place to fill it?
Well, I had a little look around, but obviously, as you know, we're limited for sort of spaces, and there's not a great deal of unused sport and recreational sites on the island at the moment. And I was aware. I actually live in St Clements myself, so I'm aware of FB. And my sisters used to play netball many years ago, and that's where basically the home of Jersey netball was, down at FB Fields on these two courts. Obviously, as soon as netball then moved up to Les Ormes, because it's played through the winter months and they were looking for an indoor facility, it left the two courts lying there empty. And as I've said, and there's been quite a bit of media coverage about it since the petition, and the area itself was completely resurfaced, brand new floodlights put up in I think it was 2014, early 2015, and it's been lying there empty. Hasn't been used pretty much once since. I believe I might be the only person that's asked for the lights to be switched on to see if they still work. I'm pleased to say that they do. I think there's a few light bulbs that might need to be changed, but yeah, it's got all the facilities there. So it's got all what you need there to make it a thriving facility. It's got the floodlights, it's got changing rooms, it's got toilets, so it's got all the amenities needed. It'd just be a case of me putting some rebound boards and some mesh sort of fencing up, and then a 3G surface down so it can be played in all weather, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, for sure. And you actually it came to a point where it all been agreed, you're getting to an advanced stage, and then it came kind of falling down. How disappointing was that? And explain the reason behind it for people who might not know as well.
Yeah, so I've been in discussion for, it seems like a good number of years now, and always went away, and the Jersey Property Holdings and Barclay Harvey asked me to say, have you thought about this? Have you done that? I said, I'll go away and do that. I'll go away and do this. And that was going on for a couple of years back and forth. This whole time, again, the facility was not getting used. It got to a point where I pretty much ticked all the boxes that they wanted me to tick, and they were then happy to sign off and to go through to the planning stage and test the water with the planning. So I'd done that. I'd got the architectural drawings all completed, planning application submitted, everything like that. And then I think there was about 90 public comments on my planning application, about 82 of them being supportive, which is great. And that's basically from the football community. But there were a few objections to my planning application from the nearby neighbours. And at that point, Jersey Property Holdings came back to me and mentioned that there was a covenant on the land, which they weren't aware of, surprisingly. And obviously, I would have thought twice about it as well, probably, if they told me that right at the start. But then after seeking further legal advice on my side, we went back to Jersey Property Holdings and we've said, actually, we don't believe that my proposal is in breach of the covenant. In fact, the complete opposite is that the covenant's in place for the public to use it as sporting recreational ground. Yeah. So my question is, if it's not being used, are they in breach of the all-important covenant because it's not being used by the public? So that's currently where we are. Obviously, we've got the petition up and running now just to raise awareness of it again. And we'll see what comes. We're still waiting to hear back from Jersey Property Holdings. We went back with our response regarding the covenant. And yeah, we'll wait and see. But I'm just hopeful that that together, because it is important that we try and make it happen. The bottom line is, Dan, that this facility is lying there empty, not being used, and in this day and age, that just shouldn't be happening. And I'd like to think what I can offer there. I think is, like I said, much needed on the island, and I just hope the petition and that shows the support for it, and hopefully the facility can be used for the public in the future. Yeah, for sure. And you talked about the petition and the support you got. How overwhelming is all the support and the backing behind this, and how much of a message should that be to maybe the government to make it happen as well, or allow it to happen? Yeah, well, I think it's definitely highlights the fact that there's again a need for such facility on the island. I mean, 2,250, I think it was the last time I checked. I think there might be a few more now. People have signed the petition. A lot from the football community, but there's also people that have got in touch with me and just said, look, it's a sports facility. You're not doing much more to it. It needs to get used. So that's obviously got people talking, and got hopefully got top politicians talking as well. I've been in correspondence with a couple of those as well. So we're looking to have a Zoom meeting like me and you are meeting at the moment, Dan, to talk over how we can move forward with this, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can together make this happen, because it's definitely needed. Have you had many conversations with any politicians up to this point, and what's their feedback? Right back at the start, a good few years ago now, I met Steve Pallett down at the site itself, and at the time, obviously, he was the politician that was overseeing sport at that time. He was very, very supportive. He thought it was a great idea. He still is to this day, even though he's currently not in that role anymore. But I've still been having some correspondence with him, and he's still supportive. Hugh Raymond, who has recently taken over his sort of responsibility for sport, we're hopefully going to be catching up and meeting with him soon. Deputy Lindsay Ash has been in contact with Hugh. And we're looking to try and meet them on Zoom fairly soon. But Deputy Lindsay Ash has been making good noises, which are really, really positive to hear. I know that's been in the JP recently as well, when they approached them. And both Hugh and Lindsay are making good noises. So I'm looking forward to catching up with them and again, hopefully get them in my corner, so to speak. Yeah, for sure. And hopefully they will be, and hopefully they see the support. Can I just jump in there, Dan? Obviously, just quickly, we mentioned the petition is really, really important. I just very, very quickly say thank you to every single person that signed that petition. It means a lot to me, and I'm just really, really grateful for their support. And now it's not only me fighting for this; it's over 2,000 people who want to play five-side football. So I'm willing to go the distance for them as well. So thanks, everyone. For sure. And for anyone who wants us to support, how can they find the petition, and what would you say for them to sign? Why should they sign? Well, yeah, they can just go on. They'll Google search and just put in Jersey petitions, and then you'll find it there regarding an open petition, and then sign up. I just obviously want to continue to raise awareness of it, try and get as many signatures as possible. Simply, one, if they think that, like me, it's criminal that the facility is lying there empty and not getting used, and they think it needs to, they could sign it because of that reason. Or secondly, just because they enjoy having a kickabout, either with their mates, or whether it's the players that play at club level that would like somewhere else to train, maybe through the winter months or something like that, or just that social side of it. And everyone that's played football before knows that it doesn't take a lot of organisation to sort out 10 people, friends to play five-a-side, and that social element is great. So hopefully I'll get more signatures if they think that they'd support that as well. But also any parents out there, I've got connections with minis and youth football, and I'd really like loads of tournaments to happen there. I would like schools to come and use it during the day free of charge. There's loads of primary schools and secondary schools around that area. And I want them to use it as much as possible. I'm a PE teacher, and I have been a PE teacher about 20 years on the island. So it's massively important to me about trying to keep these youngsters fit and active. And if it's building a five-side facility for them to use, then I'll try and do that. So any of those reasons, that would be great if people sign the petition and support me.
Yeah, I'll just bounce off that, and obviously I'm behind it, and I think it could be good for all ages as well. You talk about the kids, and it's good for the kids, the clubs as you grow up, and then even walking football can be played on, and all the generations. It's for anyone, and I think it's a really good idea. And you're obviously putting in a lot of work. So, on behalf of the football community, thank you from us, and well done for what you're doing.
Cheers, Dan. I appreciate that, but I believe you're doing more for the football community at the moment, mate, with being at all the games and being there with your camera and all that. So you're doing a great job for the football community, a lot more than I am at the moment. So thank you as well, mate.
Cheers, thank you. I'll put the petition in the bio as well, so make sure you sign it if you haven't already, and get behind it.